Everyone, I am so excited to be speaking with author David Essel, and I'm going to be introducing him in just a second. He has a new book out, and I got an advanced copy so that we could do this interview. And this is what it's called. I'm going to read it because it's kind of a long title, but it's Focus, Drop the Law of Attraction, Slay Your Goals. And I loved this book. I cannot wait to talk to him. This is our third interview. Him and I always have a great conversation. So I am very, very excited. And here's David. Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be speaking with author David Essel. This is our third time, and I am so excited. I got an advanced copy of his newest book. It's called Focus, Drop the Law of Attraction, Slay Your Goals. Thank you so much, David. I loved this book. This is my favorite one.
Wow, I'm so glad to hear that, Michelle.
It is because there's so much. It's like everything you've learned packed into this, like, and you know, you say at the end of the book, like, reread this book. I'm like, I was thinking that before you said it. And you need to reread it because there's so much information, and it's like a lot to process. You know?
Oh, it's an amazing amount to process. I mean, it even shocked me how much that we put into it. And I thought the last book was the Bible of my work. You know, positive thinking will never change your life, but this book will. You know, I really thought that was going to be probably the final book that I did a comprehensive look at life. And then this is the new book, Focus, is a follow-up. It's like now we've taken the last book, which went number one, as you know, it was a number one bestseller. And what we did was we just said, well, let's take everything from the other book. Let's just bring it to the next level. So Focus is now the follow-up. And, you know, one of the things that you just said at the very end of the book, we say, read this book once a week for 4 weeks. Yes. Like what we have found with all of our clients is that when because this book has been a prototype that we've been working on for a while. And so we would give half the manuscript to our clients as I was writing it, and then 3/4 of it. And then what we found is that if we said to them, I want you to read the entire book once a week, they retained so much information, right? Because it's one of those books where that we cover, I mean, we do an amazing job, and I'm not saying this because it's my book, but on profound love, right? Like one of the biggest chapters that we wrote on there was all about love. And then there's another chapter about how to choose that one goal to go after, the one thing theory. And then there's another book, another chapter talking about we can't multitask anymore and all the reasons why you can't multitask. And then there's a chapter that we go into the right brain and left brain person. Yep. You know, like what is the right brainers, the creative, the spontaneous, the artist? What do they have to do differently to become more successful? And then the left brainers, you know, the people that are really into formulas and they love statistics and they're hard nosed. What do they need to do to be more successful? What do these people need to do to focus and not just on their strengths? You know, like if you only focus on your strengths, baby, you ain't getting very far from where you are right now. Yep. And so it was an exciting project, Michelle. It was, you know, something when I got done with it, and we just got hard copies in, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, we just got the hard copy in today. Awesome. Today is the first day that they came.
Awesome.
You know, so now we have it in our hands, and we're going, oh, my Lord. And then isn't it interesting that we get the hard copies in on the day that I'm interviewing with you?
Yes.
That's cool.
I love that. I love that. And I have so many favorite parts. I mean, I took notes. And even though I took as extensive a notes as I did, that's why I'm saying you need to read this book again, because there's so many, even like I look back at my notes and I'm like, oh, I have another question. Like there's so much to retain that, you know, and of course, my very first question for you on the Focused was the one theory, you know, the one thing, is that what, one thing theory, because we've been taught by numerous people that you divide it up. You're going to go family. What do you want to do with your family or relationships? You know, what do you want to do with your finances, your career, your spirituality, you know, yourself, you know, fitness or whatever, those goals. So you start writing down all those goals and you're like, oh my God. So at the end of every day, you look at those goals and you're like, did I talk to my children today? Did I eat properly? Did I exercise? Did I pray and meditate? And it just is so overwhelming. So I love the one thing theory. I really do. As a way to focus on that goal and like just get it down, you know?
The word you use is perfect. Just in general, we are overwhelmed in society today. I mean, we are just in general, trying to keep up with everything and the inundation of the insanity in Washington, the insanity in Afghanistan, the insanity in North Korea. The world is really just insane. And so we can get overwhelmed. And then when we come to our own, what am I going to work on and how am I going to work on it? And, the analogy we give it was called the quadrant theory of goal setting, what you just mentioned, right? And that's what I started with because that's what my mentors taught me is you break up your life into 4 areas and you do a little bit towards your relationships every week and a little bit towards your health and a little bit towards your money and a little bit towards your career. And, that's what we knew. And then in 1996, and, I write about this guy in every freaking book that I can think of, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, yep. The founder of Transcendental Meditation. When I went through the 1-hour interview with him and at the end of it, my whole life changed. And one of the ways it changed was that we found that there's only one goal that needs to be attacked right now for all of your viewers and listeners. I'm going to tell you what the one thing theory is. We devised it in 1996, and the definition is this. There's only one goal at any given time to go after in life. It's the one you've denied, delayed, procrastinated working on. It's the one you don't want to face. It's the one that's a pain in the butt. It's the one that you've been saying every New Year's Eve for the past 25 New Years that, you're going to quit smoking and lose weight, or you're going to, make more money or forgive someone, or you're going to start to treat your body like the temple that it is, or whatever the thing is. But that thing that I'm going to get organized, I'm going to get structured. I'm going to work on my being late. And so whatever it is that is really the crux that creates more chaos and drama in your life than anything else, we prove in the book that when you go and attack just that one goal that you'd rather not, and you put in 5 days a week for 90 days, that you will see a shift. And the coolest thing in the world is, if it's procrastination, if it's an addiction, if it's codependency in relationships, if it's money issues, you're spending more than you make or whatever it is, we have stories in the book that show that when people attack their one thing, the rest of their life gets better. Like, everything else improves when you go after that one area that you've been procrastinating on the most. And that's the cool thing, is that now we've shortened it down to a smaller window, 90 days, 5 days a week of intense work on just one goal. And just at the end of 90 days, now that doesn't mean you're going to lose 150 pounds in 90 days, or, it doesn't even mean that you're going to get completely sober and say, I am fully recovered alcoholic in 90 days. But you will see a boost in self-confidence and self-esteem, Michelle, when you go after that goal you'd rather not even admit you have a problem with. And that's the greatest boost, is you feel better about yourself.
Yeah. And what I took away from the last book, okay, on the law of attraction, the positive thinking, your last book that we talked about, the takeaway on that one was action. Okay. Yeah. And, my huge, and I've had years of law of attraction. I mean, I would argue that to death to anybody. But this conversation that we get to have, this relationship that you and I have, is only because of action. Okay. I mean, I had to reach out. I had to ask. I couldn't sit around and go, geez, I hope David calls me someday.
Well, and if you think about the way the law, and we really dismantled the law of attraction in this book, if we think we did it in the last one,
I know.
And according to the law of attraction, and there's a quote by Bob Proctor from The Secret that says, when you think about what you want and you have gratitude for that thing you want must come to you. And that's a bunch of crap.
Right.
So if you would have sat there last year and said, I want David Essel to be a part of my YouTube program, and I'm going to follow the law of attraction, because that means if I say every day, David Essel would be a fun guest on this show, he should just appear.
Right. Right. It's so hysterical when you think about it, because it really took me doing it and then reading that book and being like, that's the missing piece. And now this is what I love about this book, is it really breaks down, what you can do, and you have steps, and, you just go after it. And I love the accountability step. Okay. Because I don't want to go, I want people to read this book, so I'm not trying to go through the whole thing, but I love when something just stops me and I laugh at you, because I'm like, you know what? I don't really know anybody that I'm going to be, I want to do some things, but I'm pretty sure I got this. I'm going to just be my own accountability partner. How about that?
Right.
I'll write it down in the beginning of the day, and by the end of the day, I'll just do it. And then I don't need to tell anybody about it. And you go into why that is a very bad idea.
Well, you know what? Being vulnerable is one of the greatest traits of all the super successful people in life, okay? Almost all really successful relationships, almost all really successful people with their bodies, with money, with their spiritual path, at some point they got vulnerable and asked for help. No one has reached huge levels of success, Michelle, in this world by themselves. The Dalai Lama doesn't achieve everything by himself. The Mother Teresa, oh my God, she had 500, 1,000 of her nuns that were doing work with her, in the streets of Calcutta and all over the world. Gandhi had millions of freaking followers that were passing out his leaflets and, no one does stuff. But what these people have in common is that they asked for help. They went out. Mother Teresa was one of the greatest fundraisers ever known to man. She went out and asked for help. She went out and sold her story, but she asked for help. They got vulnerable. They faced rejection. They had accountability people that would say, okay, well, we're going to give you this money, but where's it going? And how's it going to be spent? She had to be accountable for all the donations that came in as a charity, So there's, all these people, when we look at what's a common denominator between super successful people in the world, Michael Jordan,
I was just going to say him. I love that you put him in there because it's a great quote when somebody said that. How did you do this?
Yeah. Someone said, a reporter, a television reporter said, you're possibly the greatest basketball player of all time. How does it feel to be able to pull all of this off as Michael Jordan? And he said, time out. I had a mental success coach. I had a physical trainer, personal trainer. I had a dietitian creating all my meals. I had my basketball coach, right? I didn't do it by myself. I had a team of over 5 people that have been advising me, pushing me, holding my feet to the fire. That allowed me to become possibly the greatest basketball player of all time. So that's a proof right there that no one's doing it by themselves. And if we look at Steve Jobs, if we look at Bill Gates, if we look at they all had very powerful accountability partners in their lives, and all of them still do today. Well, except for Steve, because he's no longer with us.
He doesn't have to.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But, and I love you have at the end, because I was thinking as I'm reading it, I'm like, well, who does David talk to? Everybody goes to David. And then you made a list of everybody that has held you accountable for all of your goals. And I was really impressed. I was like, wow, he really does. He has people that he goes to figure his stuff out too.
Oh, Michelle, I just got the most incredible chills. I could almost cry right now, and I might, because it's I never counted the amount of people that I mentioned at the end. I don't even know if it's 10, I don't even know how many it is, but there is not, there's not a chance in the world that I would be sober today if I relied on my own abilities. There isn't a chance that I would have created the business I created if I relied on myself. There's not a chance that I would have done anything that I've done to this day. My business coach, Marlene, who's still with me now, I mentioned her in the book, and I have to, and the reason I put them in there was, first of all, they deserve it. They deserve recognition, and secondly is what you just said. A lot of times people look. So we have 2 #1 best-selling books. I know this book is going to go #1 without a doubt.
Absolutely.
We have 10 books out, and this is the 10th one. And a lot of times people will look at someone like myself and go, they're just really lucky, and they just were in the right place at the right time and all that kind of stuff. And I wanted to prove in the book that no, none of that is true. I've worked my ass off. I still work my ass off. That is never going to change. I happen to be very fortunate that I do what I love. So I put in 6-day weeks, a lot of times 7-day weeks, but always 6 days a week. I don't think I've worked less than 6 days in years. Now I do take a vacation, but that is who I am. That's what I know for me to continue to grow and to, our goal right now, and this is in the book, and it's changed over the years, but our goal is really simple. We aspire, and we reach it almost all the time, to positively lift 2 million people or more every day of my life. That is the whole work ethic of our company, and I have 10 people that work with me, and then of course all those people that you read at the end of the book. But we have a goal of 10 million people. So like right now, there's a very famous website called Elephant Journal. And Elephant Journal, there's a bunch of writers like myself, and we write articles that are posted there. The last article that we posted up on Elephant Journal so far today has been read by 6,000 people around the world. This is one freaking article, right? This is one article. It's been read by 6,000 people. It's been shared by 200 people. So 200 people read the article and shared it to Facebook or some social media, right? That's one website that we write for. And I write probably 6-7 articles a week. And so you look at one article that has lifted at least 6,000 people plus. Well, we know it's probably more like, well, if 200 people shared it and 6,000 read it there, so, 200 times 6 is whatever, 180,000 people. Like right there, like hundreds of thousands of people are going to read that one article. So when we set the goal of lifting 2 million spirits a day, regardless of what circumstance someone is in, that was the goal that I set with Marlene Payne, my business coach. And then, of course, she said to me, okay, now prove it. How are you going to do it? Well, we have 1,200 free videos on YouTube, right? We have 1,200 YouTube videos.
That's how I found you, was on YouTube. I used to watch your videos every day.
We do it. We reach 2 million people because we look at, you and I were talking before the interview about Facebook and Instagram. We have, 10,000 followers on our different Facebook pages, all combined, or more, probably even more than that now. But, when you think about it, having that goal of 2 million people is only as effective as how am I going to reach them. So I wrote out the business plan for Marlene of, we're going to hit X amount of people per day on YouTube, X amount social media, X amount my coaching clients, these kind of interviews that I do with you. We do radio interviews probably 4 to 5 days a week all over the freaking world. Awesome. And so, that is what our goal is, and that's what we're doing right now. And it's been possible to reach that 2 million people a day because I am held accountable by Marlene and many other people to work really hard, no excuses, just results. Like that's what I say to everyone. You set a goal, great. Let's put in writing what we're going to do 5 or 6 days a week to achieve that goal. That is called focus.
Right.
That is called focus, and that's what this new book is about. And you mentioned something earlier. There's probably 2 or 3 different sections that are all about structured, ritualistic steps to take on a daily basis. So, this isn't just a theory book of if you're more focused, all these great things are happening. That's part of it. But the other part of it is, and this is what you can do. Just take it out of the damn book and do it.
Yeah. And, of course, one of the reasons why I love you so much is that, this year when we went through all those hurricanes and, we went through this, like August and September was just a very tragic month of, people losing homes, and you were out there on Facebook saying, if you want to talk, for 15 minutes, contact me, and I was like, nobody else, like, people can say they want to help people, but if you don't see it, it's really difficult to believe, it's like, nobody, I didn't see anybody else doing that. And you were out there, and I saw them every day, the posts every day. If you need somebody to talk to, if you just want to vent for 15 minutes and have somebody say, I know. Because it wasn't about fixing. You couldn't help them with their house. It was just saying, I know. Right?
Yeah. That's right. We when after the first hurricane went through Houston, we were on Houston radio stations giving, and saying, contact me. Here's the cell phone number. Text us right now. We'll get you in the lineup. One of the biggest magazines in Houston ran an ad, didn't charge me a penny. They ran a full page of me offering free counseling. When Vegas, the tragedy in Vegas, we did the same thing, and so on Christmas, and here's some, we talk, and this is all about focus, ladies and gentlemen, on every Thanksgiving and every Christmas for the last 20 years, we have been offering free counseling on those 2 days, 2 of the most emotional days for people that are depressed, are anxious, are alone, are addicted, and so for 20 years, we've offered free counseling. And I say that not to build this up as much to say that is what focus is about. It's about having plans. It's about not just talking a good game, but as you and I have been always speaking about, Michelle, it's acting on who you say you are, and that's called integrity. You know, like walking your talk, it's integrity. So we don't think we're the only person in the world doing this, but we do know that there aren't as many people as what we think should be out there offering services, you know, and even in this brand new book, Focus, we say in there, do you want a free 15-minute conversation with David? Text us.
I know.
Right?
I was like, how much easier can you make it for people? You know, if you just want to talk about what your goal is for 15 minutes, just to say to somebody, you know, just text me and we can talk. I mean, that's what I'm telling you. Like, you walk the walk. It's not just about writing these books and saying, oh, this is what you have to do. It's like you're always available to talk to somebody. You're always there. And, you know, I love that. And that's the meaning of a life coach to me. It isn't about sitting in an office and charging $250 an hour to, you know, and not being out there. You know,
I think it takes both. You know, like I think it takes, like we obviously couldn't produce all that we're producing if we were doing all this for free. Although I will tell you this, I've talked to Marlene, my coach, many times, and you know, when something really massive hits, and that might be winning a lottery, or it might be me getting on Oprah and selling 10 million books instead of 500,000. You know, like when something really big happens, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing, and Marlene knows that I'm going to follow my word on this. You know, we will be doing free counseling and free coaching. I will devote my life to writing and helping people, and when that happens, you know, because that's what I love to do. And, you know, and I want to share a couple things in the book about focus, because it's, you know, as people are watching, some of the people that I've had a chance to help, and Evelyn Keeling comes to mind. I write about Evelyn. She lost 245 pounds in her late 40s. She became a bodybuilder in her early 50s. You know, and we talk about the only way Evelyn did that was to quit being a victim, quit complaining that it was her genetics or was some other kind of BS nonsense. And she went and did the work and lost 245 pounds. She's a very close friend of mine today. And I just, you know, my hat is off to her because she got so focused, Michelle. We talk about Tom, who was a 30-year opiate addict, you know, and his wife had threatened him over and over again that if you don't get clean, I'm going to leave. She never left. She said it again. For some reason, it resonated. He came in. We worked together. We kicked that opiate addiction's butt, and opiate addiction is destroying the U.S. right now. It is, as everyone knows, it is so nasty. It's not just heroin. It's also the OxyContin and all the pain meds that really created the monstrosity here. You know, Angela, we tell this story about her focus. She was working a 9-to-5 job, high school education, working in a bank, hated every minute of it, was exhausted, didn't have any kind of like focus on how to get out of the mess she was in. And now here's something interesting about Angela's story. Angela contacted me. She listened to me on a radio show, and this is going back, 15 years ago. And she contacted me and said, I just need to talk to you for 30 minutes. I'll pay whatever it is, but I want to tell you, I have no money to hire you as my coach. I have no money to hire you as a counselor. And she said, other than this 30 minutes. I said, great, let's rock. At the end of 30 minutes, I said to her, because she wanted to help on organization, and she had told me her story. At the end of 30 minutes, I said, Angela, I got to tell you something. It ain't about you getting organized, honey. And I don't say this very often, but let me tell you what your problem is. Your problem is you have no money. You are so stressed about money. I could teach you all the organizational skills in the world, and it's not going to do a damn thing unless you take care of the stress over money, which means you got to make more money, babe. You know, but I only have a high school diploma. I don't even care about that stuff. You got to make more money. She goes, well, how are you going to help me? And I said, okay, write this down. This is what I'm going to tell you. I said, I want you to hire me 5 days a week, 15 minutes a day for 90 days. Now, Michelle, you can imagine someone who just told me she has no money. Right. And she's, you know, and I said, I want to work with you 5 days a week. And I told her the amount, and she said, that's crazy. And I said, but I want to tell you something else. If you focus and do everything I ask you, I will guarantee this for you. You will, at the end of 90 days or shortly thereafter, you will double your income. And she goes, how will you guarantee it? I said, because if you do as much work as I'm going to tell you to do, it has to happen. About a week goes by. She contacted her friends and family. They all told her she was insane, that she only had a certain amount left on the credit card, and if she gave it all to this coaching program, she was going to go bankrupt, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Okay, now, she worked 5 days a week, 9 to 10 hours a day in a bank she hated, and every night she had to come home and do 2 to 3 hours of homework that I gave her, okay? Now, she's exhausted. She's coming home. She's doing and here was a guarantee. If you do the 2 to 3 hours a night, 5 nights a week, I guarantee you. So what did she do? Well, we say in the book, that she redid her resume. She started, posting all over on the social, or not social, but monster.com, that kind of place, right? But that was the easy work. The hard work was she had to pick a certain amount of people from her past every day and call them every night, different people every night, and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a job that offers this salary. Here's my, this is what I can bring together as what my background is. If you know or hear of anyone that could use me as, an aide in their company, I'm going to send a follow-up email to you. So all you have to do is forward this email to your contacts. And she didn't call anyone that she knew and said, hey, do you have a job for me? She didn't do that at all, because when you do that, people get defensive. They back up. They go, oh, I don't think I can help you. But if you say, I'm going to send you my information, if you happen to know anyone that you think I could help their company grow, the greatest story, and I know I'm giving the whole story away, but there's billions more in the book.
So good. Yeah, there is.
90 days to the day. Now, this is like and every day, and this is the other part I forgot, Michelle, she called me at 4:15. She lived in Seattle. 4:15 her time, 5 days a week. It was 7:15 my time. I was fine with that. A.M.
Okay, because I was going to say 4:15 a.m. she called you.
She got up and called me at 4:15, and we did a 15-minute call every morning on what she accomplished the night before, because I wanted to make sure she was doing the work. 90 days later, I'm in New York City speaking at a convention. I come out and my cell phone is going nuts. And I pick it up and it's Angela. And she goes, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And I said, what are you talking about? And she goes, I am so stressed. I haven't been able to get a hold of you. I said, well, I'm speaking. What's going on? She goes, I was just offered a job at double my salary. I can't believe it. I'm freaking out. And I go, oh, my God, girl, that's great. Now it gets better. For the next 2 days, I got a call from her, Michelle, every day going, David, I am so stressed. She continued to get more job offers at higher levels than even 2 times what she was making. And she had said yes to the first company, and now she was freaking out because she didn't know how to tell them no to take a better job, right?
Wow.
But let's talk focus. The focus was 90 days, 5 days a week of doing what she didn't want to do. Her friends and family told her it was a waste of time and money. Who the hell's David Essel? How's he making this guarantee, right? It's like, and at the end of it, like, everyone shut up. And then a number of years later, she came back to me to get sober. We got her sober. A number of years later, she came back to me. So I've worked with her for a long time, on and off. And she just posted something on Facebook the other day, about how she never could be where she is today without working with me. And it was one of the most beautiful posts she could have ever done,
Yeah, and what I love about your counseling in the book, story after story, is that because I think, well, what does he know that nobody else knows? Like, I always wondered that, even with your videos. And I think the one thing that I got from it is that it's responsibility. It's like, stop making excuses, Not that you can't have them, but it's like, if you take that step towards every one of your cases, it's like you made them take responsibility for where they're at and go. And I was like, because even in the marriage ones that you had in there, it was like you made them take responsibility, even when it seemed like it was one-sided. Everybody's in the marriage, So it's like, and then you fixed their marriage, and it was like, you get people to take responsibility for where they're at in order to get ahead. And I love that.
Yeah, and it's huge. And so let's go back to being vulnerable. If you're going to take responsibility for your weight, for your addiction, for your crappy marriage, for your crappy income, you are already flying ahead because you have to be vulnerable to say, holy crap, I have a role here. Most of us want to be victims.
Right.
Most of us want to say it's my genetics, it's my husband, it's my wife, it's my boss, it's the economy, it's Trump, it's whatever, and we want to say that well, if I wasn't in this area of the country, I didn't put this story in the book, but it's kind of a cute one. A number of years ago, I was working with a woman in Des Moines, Iowa that was looking for the love of her life, and I was working with a woman in Manhattan who's looking for the love of her life. And so, we're going through all these beliefs they have that we have to eradicate before you're going to find a great guy. The girl in Manhattan says this. This is her biggest belief. David, there's no available men in Manhattan because all the good guys are already taken. Now, Manhattan has, I don't know how many millions of, New York City, how many millions of, I think in New York, I think it's 10 million people in New York City. I think there's 10 million people. Okay, so she was saying there's no available men in Manhattan. And what do you think my client in Des Moines was saying?
There's nobody.
No. There's no available men in Des Moines.
That's what I thought you were going to say about her, but I thought you were going to tell me that the Manhattan girl was like, there's just too many. I don't know where to get them.
But their beliefs, was that. So if you have a belief, that means you're a victim. If you say there's no available men in Des Moines, there's no available men. And the woman in New York even said, I would be so much better off in a Midwest city. And the girl in Des Moines is going, I need to move to a big city. So here's the girl in the big city saying, I'm a victim. I need to be in a small city like Des Moines. And the girl in Des Moines saying, I need to be in a big city where there's more men. And everyone's a victim, right?
Right.
So we take that out of the equation. As a counselor, I help people work through it. I don't say you're a victim. Like I might at some point, but I don't initially come out of that. But I give them writing exercises, and then all of a sudden they're seeing the insanity of their thoughts, their beliefs, their victimhood, and so what we do is, here we go back to focus. If we can get focused on the beliefs that we're carrying that are blocking us from being successful, that's step one. Writing down what are all the beliefs. I can't make the money because I don't have the education. I can't find a great guy because I'm in this city. I can't. Well, that's really step one, is looking at all the beliefs that we have that are stopping us from even doing the work.
Yeah, and I was thinking when, because you have so much writing in here, okay? So even at the end of every chapter, and I am somebody that I'm like, no, I'm not going to write. I got it up here, and I was like, ask David to convince me that I need to write. Somebody like me, because I'm not alone. I know there are a lot of people out there that are like, I don't have to write it down. Do I have to write it down? That's just going to take too much time. I'll just tell you in my head what I think. But yeah, I know you can convince me that I should write this down.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. If you have everything in your life that you could ever possibly imagine dreaming of, don't write a thing. Okay. So that's my first answer. Okay. If you couldn't stand any more money, any more love, any better health, anything, if you're so filled that you need to, then don't write a damn thing. Okay. But in the book, when we talk about the power of writing, writing allows us to get serious, and when we take the time to write, it shows the subconscious mind that we're really ready to change. It wakes it up, and because most people don't write stuff. Now, in the world of counseling, when I first started out in sports psychology, long time ago, we never had clients take notes. We didn't give homework assignments. We didn't get them to write or read books. And then in 1990, when I married the world of counseling with the world of life coaching, everything changed. Michelle, I started giving, and since 1990 to today, I altered the world of counseling to make it a very proactive counseling session where it's not just talk therapy. Up until 1990, that was a great session, Michelle. That was awesome. I'll look forward to seeing you next week. That was how we ended it, And then in 1990, we said, okay, this is not working at the level I want. So I'm going to tell you what, Michelle, that was a great session. Here's the 6 exercises I want you to write about. I want you to read these 3 chapters in the book. I want you to outline each of the chapters of what you found to be really healthy and what you don't understand. And I'll see you in 7 days.
Wow.
And by doing that, all of a sudden, all my clients started like rocketing towards success because I was holding them accountable. I was getting them to put stuff in the physical world. Writing is in the physical world. Up here is the ethereal world. It's space cadet land up here. I hate to tell you. Only about 10% of the world's population will make radical changes in their lives via their thoughts.
Interesting.
Okay? About 10% of people could listen to a lecture today on weight loss and tomorrow start doing everything that the person said. About 10% of people could do it. Which means 90% couldn't. The 90% need to get out, write down a plan of action Monday through Friday, and we give this all in the book, gang, so you're not going to miss anything.
Yep.
When you get that book, Focus, Slay Your Goals, the proven guide to a great attitude, huge success, and profound love, we say in there, and we even leave spaces in the book, write this down here, write this down, right, Michelle?
Yeah. Yep. And I'm always, I don't know why, but there's that person in me that like wants to argue that, whenever you say that, I'm like, but I don't want, I've done, but I've done that. It's just like gratitude journals. I used to have gratitude journals, but you know what? In the book, you made me realize why my gratitude journals were not working, because you got a whole different way of talking about gratitude. And I was like, oh, well, that's, that was why that's why, Oprah's gratitude thing that she used to have every day. It was just, it doesn't work when you say things like that. You don't believe, actually, you're just lying to yourself. And then you feel like you're betraying yourself because you're lying, I think.
Michelle, in our book, we do the same thing with affirmations and gratitude.
Yes.
We blow this crap we've been taught out of the water.
That's like almost my favorite chapter right there.
Yeah. And we tell people, Oprah and all these people have good intentions.
Right.
I don't think any of them are out to purposely mislead us, right? And I love Oprah, and she's done more good than bad ever. She's probably done 95% great stuff in this world, right?
Absolutely.
But she, she was never really trained in the world of personal growth. She didn't go through counseling or life coaching, certification. She's learned on her own experiences and by paying attention to well-meaning experts. Right. So when a well-meaning expert, like people from The Secret, come on our show and say, you should have gratitude for the $1 million home that you don't have and you don't have the money for, and you're never going to have the money for because you're just not that damn gifted and talented, and you don't have the perseverance and persistence and drive to go through mountains to earn $1 million a year. She doesn't know that we shouldn't be having statements of gratitude like that because her best-selling authors are saying it works, even though it doesn't. We prove in the book that how we've been trained to do affirmations and gratitude journaling is wrong. It's very consciously done. It's very logical. Just like what I could see the expression on your face. When you read it, and this is what's happened, and even though the book just came out, the responses are amazing to the chapter on affirmations and gratitude. People go, of course it doesn't work. Of course I'm lying to myself.
It seems so simple now. I'm laughing because I have those journals, okay? I've spent, book after book writing about, my mansions and my money and how I'm going to spend it. And, that was one of their things. Write down how you're going to spend your money every day. Your $100,000 every day that you don't have.
Yeah. And as everything is an evolution, right? Life is an evolution. And so what we believe with our new book Focus is that we are, and what Jenny McCarthy said, a year and a half ago, and I love her to death. And it's the most powerful quote that anyone has ever given me in my life when she said, David Essel is the new leader of the positive thinking movement. And the reason she said that, everyone, is because of what Michelle and I are talking about right now. What we used to believe 7, 8, 10 years ago that is illogical, fantastical thinking nonsense, we are willing to stand out from the crowd and say it's fantastical thinking, it's illogical, and it's nonsense. And I can prove to you, when you get the book Focus and you read it, by the end of it, you will know more than anyone in your neighborhood, your office, about the reality of success, about what it takes to be focused in life, what it takes to, and unfortunately we only have a couple minutes left, but the chapter on profound love, everyone uses the words unconditional love. I unconditionally love them. I'm with an alcoholic for 25 years. I unconditionally love them. No, you're outrageously codependent. You've allowed them to ruin your finances. That's not unconditional love. That's called codependency. And now there are some people that have relationships very close to unconditional love. But when we look at the love scale that we wrote in the book, and I asked people to put themselves on that scale, the very first level of healthy love is level 5, where it's honesty. There's no passive-aggressive behavior. There's no buying clothes behind her husband's back and hiding the tags. It's like there's just pure honesty and friendship. That's the first healthy level of love, is level 5. 1, 2, 3, and 4 is where most of us are in relationships that aren't honest. There's emotional affairs going on, not just physical affairs. There's emotional affairs, there's addiction, there's all this kind of stuff, right? But the cool thing is when you read the book and you see where you want to be on the scale, like we all should want to at least be 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, is that we can show you how to get there. Right. So.
Yeah. I just want to thank you so much for giving me an advanced copy. I felt so blessed. I loved this book. I'm thinking at the end, like, where's he going to go from here? Like, I thought that at the last one over the summer. Now it's like, now you got this one, and it's so powerful. There's just so much to learn, that's why I want to keep telling everybody, I'm going to read it again and again. Yeah. You got to read it again because, I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn how to write things down. I'm going to learn how to, change my way of thinking. And you give such clear steps, but there's no way I could sit here even after just reading it and say, what are they? You got to go back and you got to do it that way. Even when you tell me what you tell your clients to do, like, I'm like, oh my God, like I always think all we got to do is read a book. No, you have to, it's like doing something. Action.
You really do. Hey, Michelle, for all of your viewers right now, if you can look at a preview of the book for free at talkdavid.com. So when you go to talkdavid.com, on the homepage, it says preview the book for free. And you can look through the pages and take a look and see what we're writing about, okay? And then you can, of course, buy it if you'd like to buy it. Awesome. We'd love you to. And then also what I'd like to offer every viewer here is what we say in the book. If you want 15 minutes with me on the phone as a counseling session to just give you some thoughts and ideas on how to go from where you are to where you want to be, send us a text or an email. Go to the website. Send us an email at talkdavid.com. The easiest thing to do, send us an email and say, I want my free 15-minute session with David. I watched him on Michelle's YouTube channel. Let us know where you saw it, and they will set up your free session, and we'll have a blast.
David. That's awesome. Like I said, you just walk the walk, and I love you. And can you show everybody that cover since you got it?
So I'm trying to see the. I know you get like the glare. That's probably pretty good.
There you go.
Right there, and then on the back, I don't know if you saw. There's a picture of me and Jenny together. Me and Jenny McCarthy.
Jenny has blue hair now.
I saw that. I know. She's such a freak. I love her.
I don't know what it is about her, but I have loved her. There is something amazing about that woman. And I knew it the first time I ever saw her. Like, she just radiates.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? She has made so many good moves in her life. And I think one of the coolest things she did was leave The View. When she was on The View, I watched that, and I don't ever watch television at all, and I especially don't watch in the afternoon. But I remember
that she was going to be on there, but they were not nice.
No, they sucked. Like, she is such a sweetheart, and she's really freaking smart, man. That chick is smart. I honestly believe, Michelle, I believe they were threatened by her beauty, and I believe they were threatened by her intelligence, because she's smart as hell.
I am so happy for you that you know her. I feel like I know her because you know her, because I'm so happy that you know her. When I see that you're on, like, I'm like, yes, David's back on, because you always tell us. And I'm glad that you're always doing that, because she is amazing. So
yeah, she is a rock star. And thank you, Michelle. Thank you, David.
And you know where to find me when you get to the next, because I know 6 months from now, you will find something else, and it will be even more blown away. So thank you so much.
Fun.
Have
You're
a
welcome.
Great night.
You too.
I'll have all the links. Okay.
Good.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
everyone. Wasn't he amazing? I love talking to David. He has so many great stories. And like I said, he is real, okay? When he says he wants to help people, he means it. He helps so many people. And I'm going to have all of David's links under here. If you enjoyed listening to us talk, please hit like, please hit subscribe if you'd like to see my videos every day. But talking to him is a dream come true for me. I used to watch him all the time. I never in a million years thought I'd be talking to him. And this is the third time. Okay. So thank you everybody for watching and have a great night.